Good day everyone, I am Justine Kisha, Maliza, and today we will going to tackle about the laws regulating tourism investments, finance, and insurance. So it has been the policy of the state to recognize the indispensable role of private sectors like the tourism industry and provide incentives for its needed investments. This chapter deals with laws related to promotion, monitoring, and regulation of tourism investment, finance, and insurance in the country. Basically, this will tackle the participation of foreign investors as well as incentives given to Filipino in case they will invest in the tourism industry. Special laws are even created to address the needs of certain sectors like the informal sector, Filipino balikbayans, retirees, and senior citizens. Foreign Investments Acts of 1991, RA 7042 as amended by RA 8179 provides for the policy that foreigners can now invest in all activities and enterprises in the Philippines except those covered in the negative list. Philippine national means a citizen of the Philippines or a domestic partnership or association wholly owned by citizens of the Philippines or a corporation organized under the laws of the Philippines of which at least 60% of the capital stock outstanding and entitled to vote is owned. Investment shall mean an equity participation in any enterprise organized or existing under the laws of the Philippines. Doing business includes soliciting orders, service contracts, opening offices, whether called liaison offices or branches, appointing representatives or distributors domiciled in the Philippines or who in any calendar year stay in the country for a period of periods totaling 180 days or more, participating in the management, supervision, or control of any domestic business, firm, entity, or corporation in the Philippines. Foreign investment shall mean an equity investment made by a non-Philippine national in the form of foreign exchange and/or other assets actually transferred to the Philippines and duly registered with the central bank which shall assess and appraise the value of such assets other than foreign exchange. Domestic market enterprise means an enterprise which product, goods for sale, or renders services to the domestic market entirely or if exporting a portion of its output fails to consistently export at least 60% thereof. Foreign investments negative list or negative list shall mean a list of areas of economic activity whose foreign ownership is limited to a maximum of 40% of the equity capital of the enterprise engaged therein. Export enterprise shall mean an enterprise wherein a manufacturer, processor, or service, including tourism, enterprise exports 60% or more of its output, or wherein a trader purchases products domestically and exports 60% or more such purchases. Next is the procedure for registration. A foreign national or entity not seeking to avail of incentives under the Omnibus Investment Code shall file an application of registration as follows, which is the corporation and partnership and the single or sole proprietorship. Corporation and partnership is associated with Securities and Exchange Commission. It is the partnership that is formed with at least two individuals who want to do business together and share the ownership, profits, and liabilities of the business. A corporation is owned by shareholders and can be formed for profit or non-profit. While single or sole proprietorship is also known as sole tradership. Individual entrepreneurship or proprietorship is a type of enterprise owned and run by one person which there is no legal distinction between the owner and the business entity. A sole trader does not necessarily work alone and may employ other people. Examples of sole proprietors include small businesses such as local grocery store, a local clothes store, an artist, freelance writer, IT consultant, freelance graphic designer, and more. So the limitation of foreign ownership is under Executive Number 139 dated October 27, 2002, pursuant to RA number 8179, promulgating the 5th Regular Foreign Investment Negative List and other special laws. The following investments have the corresponding limitation of foreign ownership. So limitation of foreign ownership is provide the maximum percentage shareholding by foreign stockholders in corporations engaged in partially nationalized economic activities such as public utilities. Investment in transportation businesses and utilities. No franchise certificate on a public utility shall be granted except to citizens of the Philippines or to corporations or associations organized under the laws of the Philippines or at least 60% of whose capital is owned by such citizen, nor shall such franchise certificate or authorization be exclusive in character for a longer period than 50 years. Investment in transportation businesses and public utilities is the equipment consists of private spending on motor vehicles such as aircrafts, ships, and railroad equipment, as well as household spending on transportation assets, just like motor vehicles, motor vehicle parts, and bicycles. Next is investment in travel agencies and tour operators. The following may apply for accreditation as tour operator. First is a resident Filipino citizen, a partnership organized under the laws of the Philippines or at least 60% of its capital being owned by Filipino citizens. Next is a corporation organized under the laws of the Philippines, at least 60% of the subscribed common or voting shares of stocks of which is owned by Filipino citizens, and composition of its board of directors being at least 60% Filipinos. Investment in travel agencies and tour operators play a major role in boosting tourism growth across the globe. They are today accepted as crucial component of travel and tourism industry. They contribute to revenue generation through travel trade operations by bringing together clients and suppliers. Then, investments in hotels, resorts, and other accommodation establishment. By reason of the enactment of Memorandum Order Number 211 approving the 2006 Investment Priorities Plan, tourism has been classified as one of the preferred activities pursuant to Article 29 of the Omnibus Code of 1987. Tourism covers the development of tourism economic zones, tourist states, eco-agritourism facilities, establishment of tourist accommodation and facilities. Next is the application of the retail trade law of restaurants and shops. Restaurant and other tourism-related establishments such as department stores and shops are governed by the laws and retail trade by reason of the nature of their business. Tourism projects under the Build, Operate, and Transfer Program, which is the BOT, implements the declared policy of the state to recognize the indispensable role of the private sector as the main engine for national growth and development and provide the most appropriate favorable incentives to mobilize the private resources of the purpose. The coverage of the BOT law extended not merely to government infrastructure projects but also to government development projects. The following are the schemes recognized under the law. BOT examples include highway in Pakistan, a wastewater treatment facility in China, and a power plant in the Philippines. Power purchase agreements in which a government utility acts as off-taker and purchases electricity from a privately owned plant are an example of this arrangement. Then we have period covered. The contractor transferred the facility of the government unit concerned at the end of the fixed term, which shall not exceed 50 years. Next is financing allowed. For the construction stage, a contractor may obtain financing from foreign and the financing of foreign wet services of a foreign and or Filipino contractor. Then employment of Filipino workers. In the case of foreign contractors, Filipino labor shall be employed or hired in the different phases of the construction where Filipino skills are available. Then lastly, we have the priority projects. All concerned infrastructure agencies, including government-owned and controlled operations and local government units, shall include in their infrastructure programs those priority projects that may be financed, constructed, operated, and maintained by private sector. Then we have cost sharing, which refer to the agency or LGU concerned bearing a portion of capital expenses associated with the establishment of an infrastructure development facility. The share of costs covered by your insurance that you pay out of your own pocket is what you call cost sharing. This term generally includes deductibles, co-insurance, and co-payments or similar charges, but it doesn't include premiums, balance billing amounts for non-network providers, or the cost of non-covered services. Then we have credit enhancement. This shall refer to the direct and indirect support to a development facility by the project proponent and or agency or LGU concerned. Credit enhancement is a strategy for improving the credit risk profile of a business, usually to obtain better terms for repaying debt. In the financial industry, credit enhancement may be used to reduce the risk of investors of certain structured financial products. And direct government subsidy, which refer to an agreement whereby the government or any LGUs. Direct subsidies are those that involve an actual payment of funds toward a particular individual, group, or industry. Indirect subsidies are those who do not hold a predetermined monetary value or involve actual cash outlays. Then, direct government equity. This shall refer to the subscription by the government or any of its agencies or LGUs or shares of stock or other security convertible to share of stocks. Investment in one which an investor receives shares of a company directly from the stock market. A share is an indivisible unit of capital that demonstrates an investor's connection to the company's ownership in exchange for voting rights. Then, performance undertaking, which refer to the undertaking of the department, bureau, office, commission, authority, or agency. Performance undertaking means that certain performance is dated as of the closing date by performance provider in favor of seller, substantially in the form of exhibit, as the same may be amended, restated, supplemented, or otherwise modified from time to time. Then, legal assistance refers to the extension of representing by government lawyers to a project proponent, but only in case, hearings, or inquiries where the agency are defendants or responders. A system of providing free advice that the law and practical help with legal matters for people who are too poor to pay for it. And lastly, we have the security assistance, which refer to deployment of government security forces either from PNP or AFP in the vicinity of project site to provide security during the implementation of projects up to the completion, which is the protection of the freedom, public safety, and welfare of the people, ending all internal armed conflicts like communist insurgency, violent extremism, and terrorism, preservation of the sovereignty and integrity of the national territory. So let's proceed to the next reporter. That's all for my report. Thank you.